y bienvenidos a otro episodio del PRGDA Live Videocast. Hoy me acompaña John Díaz. Hola, John.
Saludos, Shirley. Que lo que was good.
I'm good. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. El episodio de hoy va a ser full Spanglish. John nos acompaña desde California. ¿Qué parte de California?
Seattle, Washington.
Never mind. Yo estoy, o sea, sí, dos estados más abajo. Estoy bien perdida. Pero nos acompaña desde Seattle. Y se me fue el hilo de lo que iba a decir. Muy bien. Y nada, John, muchas gracias por sacarte tu día para estar con nosotros durante la tarde de hoy. De verdad que estamos súper mega agradecidos. John fue parte del PRGDA Office Hours el mes pasado, así es que ya debe ser una cara conocida para algunos de las personas que nos están viendo. A la gente que está entrando a Twitch y a Facebook, gracias por estar, como siempre. Muy, muy contenta y agradecida que estén aquí. E igualmente las personas que nos acompañan o que están viendo el video más tarde a través de YouTube, bienvenidos, gracias por estar a ustedes también. Pues John es Senior Technical Game Designer en Electronic Arts. Yo estoy bien emocionada de estar teniendo esta conversación contigo, John, por muchas razones. La primera y la más importante es porque yo no tengo la más mínima idea de qué es lo que hace a Technical Game Designer.
Okay.
So therefore, I will be asking about details of what exactly it is that you do. Porque en verdad que I have no idea. Okay. Y estoy segura que habrá personas en la audiencia que también tendrán como que, that's very interesting. Digo, tengo una idea de lo que es, pero ya nos contarás. Pero quisiera que comencemos vamos a comenzar por el principio. O sea, cuéntame un poco sobre ti, cuándo comenzaste en los videojuegos, por qué decidiste estudiar diseño de videojuegos. Please, the mic is all yours.
Okay. Bueno, Shirley, yo comencé como mucho metido en el cuarto en Nueva York con mi Nintendo, ahí con Mario, y bien entretenido, y mucho, tú sabes, tiene muchos primos y hermanos y hermanas y sobrinos, sobrinas, y todos estábamos metidos en eso, y yo compartiendo con mi hermana. Y de verdad era un total geek, right? Me estaba metido en los cómics, dibujando, jugando, leyendo, everything de ese mundo completo. Y durante los años, tú sabes, con mi Super Nintendo, cuando vino ese, gracias a mami. Mami estaba de lo más feliz que yo no andaba parrandeando en la calle. She was more than happy to like, all right, ¿quieres juego? Ahí, come juego. Quédate en el cuarto ahí. Estate tranquilo, no salga. And I was happy with that, to be fair, right? Y tú sabes, yo tenía muchos hermanos y hermanas, pero me crié kind of only child, right? Toditos eran más mayor que yo. Y en eso vivía yo en my imagination, right? Y en los juegos era como un escape para yo vivir otra vida, right? To be the hero that saves the princess or gets the master sword or, you know, conquers evil or something like that, right? Like, pero nunca me imaginaba lo que era hacer un juego. No es como hoy en día que tuve todo esto tools y software y hay YouTube. Con YouTube se puede aprender lo que sea, right? Nada de eso era accessible to me, right? Yo leía los magazines que en esos días era EGM, Game Pro, Game Informer, de esas publicaciones, y también en eso no había nada en español de lo que yo sabía en ese tiempo, right? Everything was English and very Americanized, y también esos juegos eran todo, de mi parte, de lo que yo sabía, eran todo hecho en japonesa, en unos developers que yo nunca había visto, había conocido, y también no parecían como yo, right? They didn't look like me. Pero eventually llegué a un tiempo que sabía yo qué es lo que quiero estudiar, o por lo menos no lo que quiero, pero what the heck am I good at, qué es lo que entiendo yo, y lo que entendía mucho yo era la matemática, la ciencia, right? Porque eso no tiene idioma, tú sabes. Eso, numbers, right? Numbers don't lie. They're very kind of like cold y concrete. Y yo creo que por esa parte, it helped me establish kind of an even playing ground. Tú sabes. Y chin a chin llegué yo a conocer lo que era computer science y programación y aprendiendo C o Java. Y me encantó porque it was very low barrier en que en un text file tú escribes un poco de code y son como instrucciones para la computadora, right? La computadora lo lee, it interprets it, and it does things. And that was mind-blowing to me. Y en esos tiempos había mucho, como eran text-based RPGs, tú sabes, que you just kind of type into the computer like, hey, you're at this hallway. Where do you want to go? You want to go up, left, right. And then you would type, okay, right. And something would happen. Y poquito a poquito, eso fue como que connecting the dots to be like, I can make something interactive out of here. Not just an application for like, I don't know, banks or running numbers or something like this. Eventually, mi roommate in college at the time, él tenía un elective que era game programming. Y eso fue la primera vez que yo realicé que, holy cow, I can marry the two worlds together, right? Like video games and coding son como like BFFs. One is built off of the other. Y después de eso me metí, encontré una escuela que es specialized in game development. Queda en Orlando y se llama Full Sail University. Y ahí fue que aprendí de todo totalmente. Aprendí lo que era rendering en graphics y lo que es networking y, multiplayer y lo que es low-level gameplay, programming, tú sabes, esos son cuando tiene dos actors or objects in the world and they collide with each other, right? Like registering that happens, and then de ahí comienza todo, right? Like dealing damage and triggering explosions and high score y toda esa regla, right? That's all code and logic, right? Que son solamente variables and plus and minus and equals this, and then, to slow down the artist, and the artist realizes that too, what you see on screen. So imagine, right? Un muchachito ahí de Nueva York playing a bunch of games now has the tools or the understanding to help kind of create this and be part of a team. I think eso era that was lo que me sorprendió más al principio, Shirley, era que cuando entré a un equipo por la primera vez, era que, wow, it takes like 200 people to make a game, like holy cow, ¿cómo es posible, right? Pero that's kind of my journey. I probably jumped around a lot, pero I hope podemos comenzar de ahí.
Yeah, of course. No, y for what I gather, tú comenzaste, te pregunto más bien, ¿no? Estoy asumiendo un poco por lo que dijiste, pero tú comenzaste entonces to play around with computers back in the days of GeoCities and...
AOL, tenía mi AOL screen name. Mira, déjame contarte, mi primero screen name era Dominicano X. ¿Y qué sabía yo de que lo que sea? But I was just like, oh yeah, this sounds cool. This is something. That's my first one.
that one of the things that us millennials, we have, the Gen Zers definitely will not get to experience, was creating those very first, very specific type of like gamer tags or like screen names that you would use for everything. Like I had one that I used from when I was like 12 until los otros días, and I'm 34 years old. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I used it for almost 20 years. Pero se volvió demasiado difícil conseguirlo y es como que, whatever, I'll just see. So like things change.
Con tu Hotmail.
Sí, no, mi Hotmail es un hot mess. O sea, full. Pero sí, yo, I can really, me puedo identificar mucho contigo porque yo aprendí HTML by programming my Neopets page.
Yeah.
Like, excuse you, because I had my Neopets, and my Neopets were like super important. And for me, being able to like write or like to put in these things in here and then refresh the page and see that the page had changed, it was era magia, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was so empowering. ¿Verdad que sí? Era like all of a sudden, hey, I'm a wizard and I can make things happen on the screen at the pantalla, right? I loved showing people to be like, hey, look, I did this. Y para ello, para mami, mi hermana y cosas así, they would look at it and yo creo que ellos se imaginaban que yo era como un graphic designer. Y no era eso at all, right? Oh, tú estás dibujando tu muñequito. That's cool. You sabes. But I was like, nah, mom, it's not that at all. It's not that at all. It's something very different. Pero yeah, me hace reír, for sure.
Y tus papás son de la República, ¿verdad?
Sí, mami y papi, sí. Son de mami de un campo en la capital y papi de Bonao, sí. ¿Tú has visitado?
No he tenido el gusto de ir a la República.
Móntate en un ferry, coge para allá. Dang. It's right there. Son tu vecino.
Estoy loca por ir. De hecho, estoy loca también por contactar a like game designer associations or something en la República, a ver si inventamos algo con los hermanos dominicanos. Porque sé que allá también tienen varias iniciativas de videojuegos, pero I don't know the leadership. So si alguien por ahí conoce leadership, que me mande un DM.
Hit us up. A mí también, por favor. Yo solamente conozco a Danny Peña from the Gamer Tag Radio. Yo sé que él está metido en esa comunidad y debe de saber una persona, pero that's all I know.
Pues los buscamos después. Pero sí debe haber sido like in something that you mentioned earlier and that really like, it's stuck with me, like how powerful it must have been for you to enter the industry, una industria, ¿no?, en la que tal vez los latinos no hay representación, o no en el momento en que tú entraste en la industria, no había, ¿no? Latinx en gaming no existía.
Nada.
No había este movimiento que existe ahora de diversidad, de inclusión y el valor que se le da a esa diversidad. Entonces, ¿cómo fue tu experiencia entrando a la industria de videojuegos en el momento en el que lo hiciste?
Sí, me encanta everything, ¿verdad? Porque eso es lo que es what I express, right? Aprecio tanto Puerto Rico Game Developers Association, Latinx in Gaming, right? Like, none of this was around. Y como te digo que, like, representation, yo no veía gente como yo en my neighborhoods, en my communities. Yo me crié en Nueva York y en ese tiempo no habían todos los programas que hay ahora y tenía que mudarme, right? I had to move to Orlando to go to school for this. And then my first job, me tuve que mudar para Austin, Texas, right? Yo no conocía a nadie allá, yo no tenía familia, no tenía amigos, no tenía socio, no tenía nada, pero lo único que tenía era un job offer, my first, game industry job, y por lo menos me mudaron you know, they gave me a place to stay. They gave me like como un fact finding. Me ayudaron a conocer a Austin and be like, okay, I'm gonna rent this place. Y ahí comencé, right, solito. Y tenía que como crecer y crear mi nuevo network en my circle, right, de nuevo. Y como tú dices, no conocía a nadie, no conocía nada, y era como mi primera experiencia con, como se dice, corporate America, tú sabes. Y en corporate America no no habían gente de mi background, tú sabes, y era un totalmente diferente cultura and way to be. Eso sí que I connected in what I call affectionately in geek culture, tú sabes. Todito nosotros hablábamos juego and board games and movies and comics. En eso llegué yo a compartir and connect. Y de verdad, what I loved was que me aceptaron for all my weirdness, right? Era un neto de Nueva York con baggy clothes y tenía de que pelo largo y trenza y cosas así, and all this craziness. Pero eso era normal de donde yo era, right? Like, this is what I would see coming up around me. This was normal. Pero allá en Austin, Texas. Y yo también, mira, me encantaba ponerme la gafa de noche también. I'll walk around with the shades así en la noche. Y gente me gritaba, like, yo, it's not sunny outside, bro. What are you doing? I'm like, yo, pues this is the style. Ustedes no saben de moda. ¿Qué pasa aquí? And imagínate, Shirley, that was me learning lo que era. Like, yo, I'm in a different part of the world. I gotta adapt. I have to learn, tú sabes. Or, en verdad, my coworkers were super awesome, right? They were very inquisitive. Y siempre, you know, we would go out to have lunch. And they were open to everything, all the crazy experiences that I would tell them, like la música que yo escuchaba, la comida que comía, ¿cómo se dice? My lack of timing, tú sabes. Decir que I'm not so good with punctuality back then, al principio. Tú sabes.
Yo creo que eso es algo inherente de los caribeños. Yo creo que ese es como que hora del Caribe, no olvídate.
Island time. Sí. Mira, me contaste que that's what I love about the game industry, porque any other job, I would have not made it this far. Te cuento que aquí en el game industry, un poco more lax con el horario y cuando uno entra y cuando uno sale, you know, as long as you're getting your work done, right? Like, that's something que gracias a Dios, like, me conviene totalmente a mí, like, to my spirit, right? Like, gracias a las mujeres que me criaron, me enseñaron que, like, this idea of fashionably late, pero como tú dices, el horario caribeño, I think for sure is a thing.
It's an island time. Mira, por acá tenemos un comentario bien chulo de Gabriel López. Un saludo, John. Soy diseñador de juegos novato y mis padres son dominicanos. Se estableció en San Juan.
Yeah.
Éxitos. Ay, mira, me mando un saludito a mí. Ay, tan bello. Ay, gracias. Gabriel. Un abrazo, Gabriel. Gracias
abrazo,
por el comentario.
Mira, un señor día, otro día. Heck yeah.
Sí, there you go. Wow, pues yo, hubo un momento en mi vida, hace unos 20 años, de los how old am I? No, not 20, I'm not that old, wait.
Pero tú eres 80s. 80s,
yes,
baby.
Yo nací en el 86.
Ok, te llevo 3, pues.
Está bien, pero está millennials still.
We're good. We came up before the internet was a thing.
Yeah, no, y estaba leyendo el otro día something about geriatric millennials. And I'm like,
yo creo que yo vi eso.
You?
Yeah.
No, yo prefiero el término elder millennial. Yes.
Me gusta más, sí.
Because that sounds like there's wisdom.
Eso es. Ya aquí me están saliendo mi cana, por eso I got to get the high fade para escuchar, para esconderlo un poco.
Yo también estoy, bueno, ajá. Anyways, that's not the point. A lo que iba es que en algún momento, back in the day, cuando yo entré a la universidad, por ahí del 2008, 2009, yo comencé actually a estudiar game design en el Art Institute.
Okay.
And I actually started taking online classes. El Pittsburgh Division del Art Institute tenía, ofrecía un bachillerato, yo creo que todavía lo ofrece, en game design. Y como yo estaba viviendo en Puerto Rico, no podía irme a Estados Unidos, pues mi única alternativa en ese momento, Atlantic, o sea, la universidad aquí en Puerto Rico ninguna daba diseño de videojuegos. Y para mí el irme a Puerto Rico no era una opción en ese momento. And I started and I loved it and it was like the thing that I wanted to do, but the moment that my mom saw how expensive it was going to be, like after, I think, honestamente, it's been so long que ya no me acuerdo cuántos cursos tomé, pero fueron bien poquitos, fueron como 2 trimestres.
And, so como un year.
No, it was like 6 months, like half a year. Porque, no, un poquito más, pero sí, fueron como 6 clases, 6 o 8 clases, I don't remember. Pero el punto es que esas 6 o 8 clases was $16K. So cuando mi mamá vio eso,
half a year, God.
Yeah, when my mom saw that, she was like, oh, hell no. Like, you're not doing this. I am not co-signing your loans. And I had to drop out. Y ahí se quedó por lo menos de estudiar diseño de videojuegos directamente through a degree, pero I went to university. Hice un bachillerato en literatura comparada because I wanted to write for video games, right? I wanted to be what today we would call a narrative designer.
Sí, no, well done. I mean, that's super smart, right? Like, es un degree que se puede aplicar a varias cosas, one of them being narrative design, right?
Yeah. So, no, but the thing is that I got distracted and I got a master's degree in medieval studies. And yeah, because my favorite video games siempre han sido como que los del tiempo medieval y qué sé yo. De hecho, my favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy 9.
Eso, con el mugo ahí. Hell yeah.
It's the one.
Oh, that's sick.
And then my Triforce.
Oh my gosh.
Right here. So I have a thing for medieval themed games, which drove me, ¿no? O sea, los videojuegos, aunque no estudié diseño de videojuegos directamente, la influencia que los videojuegos han tenido en mi vida, tanto personal como profesional, es, o sea, inmesurable, ¿no? There's just I can't even begin to explain. But I ended up going more towards what's like research and kind of like looking at the role of video games within culture. I'm much more interested in serious games at this point and using games for good, right? For empathy, for teaching.
They're so good for this también. That's what I love about it. And I'm super interested to learn more because there's the obvious application que son juegos para entretener and to escape and have fun, right? Or like compete and whatever. Pero in terms of como uso médico, uso de terapia, uso psicólogo, right? Like all that stuff is so valuable. En vez de like whatever traditional medicine, using eso como simulation to help you cope and get through lo que sea, it's the new wave. I think there's so much more to uncover, but I think this can be a strong, como que tú dices, to help people health and salud, like it's insane what is possible ahora en día with these games.
Yeah, especially when you throw virtual reality and augmented reality into the mix, it's like, what is happening? Y hay varios juegos ya que hacen eso, sobre todo, like, really help you to empathize with characters. And that's what you do, right? When you're playing video games, you're using this character and you're living their adventure through them, so like the character becomes this extension of yourself to a certain extent. Which is why for me growing up, todos los videojuegos que yo jugué siendo pequeña, pues los personajes principales siempre eran chicos, eran hombres. Y digo, and it never bothered me. Like I never, o sea, I was like, what, 10, 11, 12, so I didn't care.
Como niño,
pero,
we don't care. We don't see a bunch of that shit. Like, como que no nos afecta. It's just like, okay, I'm Link today. Okay, I'm Mario today. Okay, I'm Lara Croft en esto. Or I'm Carmen Sandiego en este. Like, it's all good. I never felt like, oh, I don't want to be this person. No, it's like, okay, this is who I am right now. Okay, let me live and let me experience this way.
Yeah, but at the same time, I can't overstate how important it was for me cuando in Pokemon Crystal, I was able to create a girl. I was able to play as a girl, right?
Ah, okay.
That was actually, it was no sé, en ese momento fue como que algo que fue bien importante para mí. And I'm kind of like using this as a segue a little bit, porque hoy en día we see a lot of games that have to do, or like how the industry is highlighting female characters, por ejemplo. Pero y me corrige si estoy equivocada, y el chat me mantiene, chat's always keeping me in check, so,
Yeah.
o sea, si yo digo algo aquí que no va, hay quien lo va a tirar full, pero I don't think we've seen that con personajes latinoamericanos sin, o sea, no vamos a contar a Miles Morales, porque es como que Spider-Man, Miles Morales, you know, of course. Pero como que no sé que hay muchas, like there's small indie studios in Latin America that are creating games, and hay algunos juegos que están claramente inspirados en su cultura. Lo cual a mí me encanta, y esto hablé un poco sobre esto con Elaine Gómez, ¿no? Que cuando la tuvimos en el programa, I think it was one of our first videos a few months ago.
Tremendo episode. You guys gotta watch that one.
Oh, thank you. Yes, watch it, si no lo han visto. Y ella, no, para ella es claramente muy importante, igual que para ti, ¿no? Esa inclusión, no solamente inclusión, pero también how it's like the representation, that's the word I was looking for, to have las culturas, y digo culturas porque no es una cultura latinoamericana, o sea, los dominicanos y los puertorriqueños no pueden ser más distintos, por ejemplo, ¿no? Aunque somos vecinos, somos hermanos, pero al mismo tiempo es como que we're very different, right? So video games, I think, well, I don't know, actually, this question is more for you than for me, because I have my opinions about it. Pero si fuera, pensando nosotros acá un poco, what would you like to see en un videojuego inspirado por la cultura dominicana?
Bueno, yo te voy a decir el primer answer viene de mi familia, que siempre desde que yo entré a la industria, keep in mind it was 2006, 2007, en ese tiempo Guitar Hero era súper popular y Rock Band. Y as you'd imagine, lo primo y mi hermano siempre, hasta hoy, last week me mandaron un message ahí, que me mandaron un TikTok de que uno ahí jugando de que Bachata Hero, tocando la guitarra como Anthony Santo. And so that's the first one, right? Like if I had some money and some funds y entendía un poco más lo que es music licensing, porque yo creo que that's the biggest hurdle to get over, is dealing with these record companies. Un Bachata Hero or something that incorporates la música de Sudamérica, right? Like our music is beautiful, right? Like, I don't care where you come from, you hear this, y quiere moverte. You want to move, you want to shake, you want to spin, you want to gritar, lo que sea. But en mí, los juegos que yo siempre me he gustado típicamente son third person action adventure, tú sabes, como Zelda, como God of War, Spider-Man. Me encanta ver el character. No me gusta tanto el first person porque yo quiero ver my hero on the screen. Pero I would love to be able to have some historical reference, como lo hacen Assassin's Creed y cosas así. Me encantaría explorar el Caribe y el Sudamérica y all that history que no se sabe tanto, right? Like, or that is uncovered con todos los natives y los incas y los aztecs y los taínos. I would love to explore that. Y también through the lens of lo que vienen por ahí, lo Cristóbal Colón y cosas así, a ver cómo la gente lo miraran como, ahí vienen los gods, you know. I think that there's something that I would love to explore. I think there's a lot of history, a lot of archaeology, a lot of dress and fashion y todo y que se puede, that you would put on screen, right? I think un exercise que hacemos mucho when we're exploring a theme for a game is that if we take a screenshot y lo tiramos ahí, that you wouldn't confuse it for any other game, you know? You would know right away as soon as you see it, oh, that's this game, that's GTA, or that's Gears of War, or that's Halo, or something like that. Eso es, you know, if I had some liberty and a team to do some R&D, me encantaría. In terms of like original, cosas así. Pero si tú me estás hablando de like a hero to go mess with, or an IP or a book or something, you know, I have a bunch of different answers por allá. But hablamos de eso. That's some ideas. I got a bunch. Tú y yo, we can go crazy with designing in blue sky.
Oh, definitely. No, yo creo que había, y otra vez el chat me corrige si estoy equivocada, pero en algún momento tengo como que una memoria de un Guido Hero, pero I don't know if that was an actual game that someone made or if it was like a parody. I don't remember. Pero sí, el Guido Hero. No me acuerdo si fue una parodia o si es algo que alguien actually creó. Pero eso, lo que dijiste, me recordó automáticamente a eso. Y sí, estoy muy de acuerdo contigo. O sea, la historia del Caribe particularmente es fascinante. Y yo sé que esta no es la primera vez que lo digo aquí, no es la primera vez que lo digo en cámara y no va a ser la última vez tampoco. A mí me parece ridículo, espantoso, que la representación más popular o la representación estelar que nosotros tenemos dentro de la cultura popular del Caribe se ha basado en un ride de Disney. I can't even. Like Pirates of the Caribbean. And I'm here like, I was like, bro.
They ride at it? What? Yeah, I forget que eso takes place in el Caribe. I forget even it's in the title, right? To me, it's just like, oh, it's a fun pirate movie, you know? Pero se me olvida, yeah.
The thing is que para nosotros, que somos caribeños, pues entonces nosotros sabemos que that's all like what? Bueno, inclusive para muchas personas, yo me atrevería a decir que la gran mayoría no conocen la historia de la piratería, porque la historia de la piratería no es algo que se enseña ni en la escuela, por lo menos aquí en Puerto Rico, suerte. Pero la historia de la piratería es súper interesante.
Oh, yeah.
Y los personajes, o sea, las personas que vivieron durante ese tiempo, las vidas que ellos llevaban, era algo, o sea, when you read about it, when you learn about it, it's fascinating. Yeah. So, hay tanto material para sacar algo top-notch material.
Yeah.
And the thing about video games es que cuando tú juegas un videojuego, el simple hecho de jugarlo, o sea, tú aprendes cuando tú juegas. You have to, because you have to learn the controllers, you have to learn the rules of the game. So, uno de los aspectos más importantes de tu jugar es aprender.
Yeah.
Y si yo me pongo a pensar aquí, si yo me logré aprender los nombres back in the day de 150 Pokémon en orden, ¿ok?
Get out of here.
En orden, los podía recitar en orden. Y podía cantar el Poké Rap también, pero ya no.
Oh, shit. Oh, gotta catch them all. Yeah.
I think that would be a great way to get like the younger generations interested in history. No, and history is fascinating. Lo que pasa es que la forma en la que la historia se enseña, and I know this porque yo he enseñado humanidades, y yo fui profesora en la Universidad de Puerto Rico, y en realidad engaging students is very hard, pero with games it'd be a lot easier. Bueno, pero yo me fui en esta tangente bien brutal que me encanta la conversación. But let's go back to you, John, because we've been like chatting about games, which is great. Don't get me wrong.
I thought that's the point.
Yeah, it is the point. Pero I want to know about what you do. O sea, because tú trabajas en Electronic Arts.
Ahora sí, hoy en día.
EA Games, if someone for some reason doesn't know that EA stands for Electronic Arts. Y te pregunto, tú eres Senior Technical Game Designer. So, yo empecé el episodio diciendo que I have no idea qué es lo que hace un Technical Game Designer. It's not a guess. It's an educated guess.
Give it to me.
Of what you do. Vamos a ver. Yo diría que a Technical Game Designer, lo que hace, because of the way that you very passionately talked about like collisions and stuff, I would presume that that's what you design. Todo ese like low level interactions dentro del juego, ¿no? El decidir qué tan grande van a ser los collision boxes, presumiendo que hay collision boxes, o que son actual boxes, I don't know. También, no sé, like...
No, you're good. You're already there. You're already... Abriste la puerta, metiste la pata, entraste. You're already in the right house. You're good. You got it. You got it. You hit it on the head. Yeah, totalmente, as you imagine, it lives under the big design family, right? Recuérdate que como cuando comenzó todo esto, you had a programmer and an artist, right? It's usually all you needed to make a game. A veces eran la misma persona. Hoy en día un indie developer lo puede hacer todo. Pero down the road, por fin llegó el designer, right? Era the third part of the family. No era una persona técnico y no era una persona que podía dibujar, pero era una persona que tenía una mente de, regla and a lot of the psychology, right? Like player motivation and challenge and, what's fun. Mucho comenzaron de like arquitectura, right? Like level design and stuff like this. So, como creció ese árbol, el family tree de design, llegó una parte, a little branch que vive dentro de design, puro design y engineering. Y es una persona, and so a mí, my programming background me sirve tremendo bien porque yo vivo en ese space que facilita, like facilitates el designer y el engineer. What I mean by that is I spend a lot of my time figuring out tools and scripts y como a lo que saben lo que es Unreal Unity, lo que es como ser un prefab que tiene como por ejemplo un mesh que puede ser un treasure box y puede tener un associated animation, que es el player going to open the treasure box, y tiene particles que explotan en sound, y eso es un prefab que puede ser un treasure chest que puede ser un technical designer, puede ser un technical artist. They'll hook it up y se lo pasan al designer, and they say, go crazy, put this all over the game, and all the background I'm handling, and it will communicate with the game systems to, go to your inventory, darle un plus al score, y no tiene que meter mano el engineer. He or she can spend their time más in the technical heavy lifting. Después de eso, otro extension para el technical designer, something that I've been doing recently, era que, vienen todos estos treasure chests in the world, y no hay una manera que comunican todo junto, right? Like, vamos a decir que es un procedural dungeon, y los treasure chests lo tiran por donde sea, y es como un name me a game que tiene, like, random rewards, que tiene como rare loot, epic loot.
Diablo 3.
Diablo, perfecto. Diablo is a great example, right? In a world like Diablo, un technical designer puede vivir in the system of, viene un system designer y te da un Excel spreadsheet to say, hey, these are the percentages that you get common loot or rare loot versus epic loot, y they need to be this peppered throughout the map. Por ejemplo, yo puedo venir y escribir un script o un blueprint, si está en Unreal, que manipula or controls the rate that they drop and spawn. So it's not sexy, right? It's not something on screen to be like, "Ooh, tú creaste eso, John," and it's not super low-level engineering, right? Like I don't get paid as much as an engineer, pero it ayuda a los dos departments, right? So then I could work with the systems designer to be like, "Hey, does that feel good? Do you want me to kind of make this happen less, more? Does this work for you? What else do you need added to it?" kind of thing. Un ejemplo, of which there are a bunch, and I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So it's like the role of a technical designer is kind of like no quiero decir intermediario, because that's not necessarily it, but it's you're facilitating
sí.
Between the engineers and sí. The level designers.
Totalmente. I consider this primarily a support role. Es a world de que no es un designer que makes player-facing content, right? Que tú puedes venir, jugar el juego, and say, "Oh, is that your level? Or did you design the combat system?" Right? It's not that, right? It's an invisible role that I just say I help make designers' lives better, easier, and I also live in the space between engineering and designer. Porque lo que pasa muchas veces son un engineer viene, he build a feature, and he says, "Hey, it works good enough, toma designer, use it." Y viene un designer and tiene todo little question mark emojis, como que like, ¿cómo diablo uso esto, right? So that's where I come in, and I put a pretty little bow or box around it and say, "Here you go, designer. It looks nicer. Todavía tiene el scary looking Gengar Pokemon in there, but you never have to look inside, right? And if it breaks, come to me and I'll fix it."
That's awesome.
And if I can't fix it, then I take it to the engineer, abro la caja and be like, "Yo, bro, salió el monstruo. I don't know how we're going to wrestle this thing back in the box, but I need your help."
That's awesome, actually, porque el rol que tiene entonces un technical designer it's very important, actually, for the game experience in itself, right? Porque, o sea, if the technical designer is not doing their job correct, then, en el mismo ejemplo que diste, the ratios of loot drops are not going to be correct, and that can become very frustrating. Digo, mi ejemplo es como que bien banal, ¿no?
No,
pero
también, I think.
Wait, is it because of technical designers that games get nerfed?
Esos son más systems designers. Systems designers son lo que they'll crank at the spreadsheet and adjust the numbers to be higher, lower, damage buffs, weapons, characters. Those are systems designers. Esos son los mathematicians a veces, right? Like, I want players to use this weapon now. El technical designer, I've done systems design before. Y también what I want to emphasize is que I don't work on game features specifically. I work on making designers' lives easier to tune. Por ejemplo, so if I'm not doing my job and a designer has to manually take the time to go to each box and set the setting and position it, and it doesn't work there, let me move it, right? Where I can build a system around that so that they can tune it faster. That's what you'll see, right? So you can see systems designers hate their lives more, or games take longer to build or more expensive, right? So I think I help kind of control costs a little bit.
Yeah, so you build tools for designers.
Sí.
Okay.
I look at it like we can look at it that way, right? Like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I wanted to be a tools programmer, but I wanted to be more hands-on in design, right? I wanted to be more in the game than a technical design role." I would tell people, "Yeah, man, let's talk. I'd love to tell you more about what this role takes." Because I think I will say que in my role, coge un level of people skills y siendo approachable y empathetic and patient, right? Like a lot of my role is teaching people how to use some of these tools and features, demonstrating, right? Like building example maps or levels or scripts to show or teach other designers how to leverage this, right? To make their lives easier. So it takes a level of I don't know if this is a word. This is my terrible Spanglish, right? Maestría. I don't know. Teacher.
Mastery. Yeah.
Mastery. I like that one better. Gracias, Shirley.
You're welcome. Entonces, what is your role as a senior technical designer?
Yeah. So as a senior, pienso what it allows me is un poco más autonomía en lo que creo yo que debo de invest my time in, right? So if especialmente ahora, I think it's worth calling out que at EA, I'm on the Frostbite engine team. If you know Unreal or Unity, right? Those are third-party, publicly available engines, right? Amazon's got one, Open3DE. Godot, right? That's an open source one. Those are available. You can download them. You can build a game on them. Frostbite is proprietary, right? Solamente lo usa EA. EA's built it from the ground up, right? Eso lo que helps what FIFA is built off of, what Madden is built off of, what Battlefield, Mass Effect, a bunch of these games, right? Nuevo Skate, Nuevo... Oh, that's a good one. I'm glad you mentioned Sims. And Nuevo Dead Space is going to be on Frostbite. The Sims. So I'm glad you called out The Sims. Porque not every game in EA uses Frostbite. Not every game. So The Sims has their own tool set that they work on.
Really? They don't use it doesn't use Frostbite, it uses something else? Mm-hmm. It's also proprietary from EA?
Creo yo. I think so. I haven't seen it. I got some friends that I got to hit up on Slack to be like, yo, I just got asked, what the heck you guys use? And I didn't know what to say. I want to know more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now I'm interested now because, if EA uses Frostbite for everything else and it's not using it for The Sims. Although, to be fair, I know that The Sims was originally built as something was not supposed to be a game and turned into a game eventually. So maybe that has to, I don't know, estoy hablando así sin saber, estoy tirando cosas ahí a ver qué.
Sabes más de lo que tú piensas. I think you say something in de chiste, pero you're usually right. Your instincts are crazy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like también, por ejemplo, like Apex Legends is built on their own proprietary thing. Eh, blah, blah, blah. El último, what is it? Jedi Fallen Order. That was built on Unreal, right? So different teams are free to use whatever they want to use.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty big, right? There's a lot of games being built,
Yeah.
and so all that to say, I'm on the engine team, que es el como like un core tech team que muchos estudios tienen el development team del juego, o maybe tienen 2 or 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 proyectos, y después tienen un core equipo que solamente trabajan in the foundation or the back end or the live services or those types of things. And so I'm on Frostbite, which means I live straight in the tool, and my day to day típicamente es hablando con los developers across these games and seeing how they're using it and figuring out like where I can make things better, simpler, optimized, cosas así, or show them like new features that we've built. To I can't. I don't know how much I can say, but an example. I don't know if I can make any examples, but I'll stop there before I say.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna ask, como que, o sea, si te pregunto, like, have we seen anything in a game, or could you like reference anything in a game that you've helped create, or that you've, and I bet you get this question a lot.
Sure.
Pero what would that be? What would that look like then?
Mm-hmm. So, yo llegué a EA en octubre. And so solamente tengo, ¿cuántos son ahora? 9 meses, 9, 10 meses.
Más o menos.
Yeah, and so todavía no tengo nada bajo mi nombre de EA, right? Yo creo que cuando sale el FIFA de este año, that'll be my first credit as an electronic artist. So I'm excited to get that under my belt. So hasta que salga no tengo nada para decirle que contribuí yo a un juego de EA bajo de Frostbite. Puedo decir, before I got here, yo estaba con Amazon, and it was crazy, Shirley, porque era un nivel, era un role que nunca me imaginaba, y era de que por nombre era un tutorial technical designer. Y basically what that meant era make YouTube videos demonstrating how to use the engine for the public. Entonces, si tú vas y buscas Lumberyard tutorials, you probably see some of my content on there. Y eso es a layer of technical design, right? It's just like, hey, here's how I put a character in the world, and this is how I animate them, and this is how I make them interact with the world, or something like that. Por ejemplo.
That's awesome.
It was fun, right? Podía vivir un poco como tú in streaming and learning video setup and microphone and lighting y todo eso que nunca me imaginaba as un game developer that I would have to learn, right? That
yeah.
Never.
Hopefully you did better than me. Like with my glasses, the light is right in front of my glasses, so it's like all the glare. It's like Shirley, rookie mistake. Charles, come on.
If you take out the lenses, nobody will know.
I mean, you're not wrong. Okay. That's awesome.
I think the last thing that I've shipped that I can talk about that people would have experienced no era como un puro technical designer, era más un scripter. Y I think anybody que ha trabajado in Unity writing C# or in Unreal writing blueprints, they can sympathize or imagine what it's like. Y era puro, writing logic to make things happen on screen, right? So in Red Dead Redemption, I was one of like 10 mission designers. And so when you if you remember Red Dead or any of those games, right, you usually as John Marsden, or I forget the one from part 2, you usually have a little blip on the map that says coge para acá, y cuando entra it'll play un little cutscene, and then you have a mission or an objective to like go here, save this person, steal this thing, kill it. So in my role there, era más puro logic, right? Like more of that programming background of writing code, triggering things to happen, waiting for, hey, did the player get in this area, right? Did the player eliminate all the threats in the area? And controlling very low level. Siempre, you called me out, right? Everything I'm into is always very like low level gameplay facing, like what's happening with the controller typically.
No, but I think that is, I mean, as someone who looks at games, because every time I play a video game, I'm always, I can't enjoy games anymore because I'm constantly thinking about how they work, right?
You see the code.
So yeah, like I can't enjoy it because I'm too busy like thinking about how it was made and how cool it is or how much it sucks, either or. So actually, like the level that low level kind of, I'm gonna call it interaction design.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. First, it sounds like something I would go full on focus mode and just flow, trying to figure out like it's a puzzle that you have to assemble, but you have to build at the same time, right?
I like that.
And that type of interaction design, I think it's fascinating. So yeah, I don't blame you for being incredibly pumped about the work that you do, because I think it's really cool. Again, hasta ahora no tenía la más mínima idea que it was a designer dedicated to do these things. Pero
mucha gente conocen like a technical artist,
Yeah.
Es una persona que a veces hacen, they'll be modeling or writing shaders or textures, pero la mayoría de las veces son ellos que están escribiendo como like scripts en Maya to help the import pipeline or to run some tests to make sure that things fit in memory, cosas así, right? So technical artists are very prevalent in the industry. Technical designers, I would say, you might get one technical designer for like every 10 designers a vez en cuando. And technical artists, I think, are more common. Hay más de ellos. They've been around longer.
No, but I really see the value in technical design because, porque, por ejemplo, a mí siempre, es que yo me quedé como que estoqueada cuando mencionaste los collision boxes.
I'm glad.
It's a pet peeve whenever I'm playing a game, de momento the collision boxes are not either no están bien puestas or they're not set correctly, and the characters or the items are not like visually interacting with each other in the way that they should be. And I'm here like, that doesn't look right.
Yes. Yeah. Sí, en eso yo voy y cojo, bueno, en los días de antes, when I was in the office, yo me levanto, I would go, I would come around the corner and sit down and speak with the artists who built the mesh and messed up the collision, right? To be like, yo, something's off here, porque yo dependo que, when they're touching, I can cue some event or logic or feedback that something happened. And so when something is happening and it's like, yo, I'm not even touching it. Oh, how am I taking damage, right? Like, I'm like this far away. ¿Qué pasa? That's when I got to go over to the artist or the technical artist and be like, bro.
Be like,
help.
bruh, come on, bruh. What's
don't
up?
You check? Don't you check? Don't you play the game? Like, why am I seeing this? Yeah, why I got to be the one?
That's why the QA people are really important for catching those things as well. Mm-hmm. Pues ya tenemos una hora aquí, John. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you again. Thank you so much for being here with me. I've had so much fun talking to you. I've learned a lot, I have to admit, and I'm pretty sure que las personas que nos están viendo también han aprendido un montón de ti. Tengo una pregunta por acá, espérate que no veo. Ahora sí.
Daniel
pero una pregunta de Daniel, pero la pregunta de Daniel es de un juego específico, so vamos a ver how much John can like pitch in aquí. ¿Cuál es tu opinión sobre Anthem, el juego que tuvo mucho high potencial y murió en poco meses? I never played Anthem, so I have no opinions about this, sadly.
Yeah, so I came in, como digo, yo entré en octubre, so Anthem was well before my time. Pero eso sí, que the little bit that I played, I loved it. I felt like I was Iron Man, tú sabes. Y como te digo siempre, right? If that was supposed to be kind of their Destiny competitor, yo siempre I will always pick a third person avatar over a first person, right? So I was ready. I was like, oh, that's going to be my game. Y lo único que sé yo, that it felt good to move around and fly and shoot things. I love the classes, and the world was amazing. And I was hurt porque cuando yo llegué, I think it was recent, no pasó mucho tiempo que anunciaron que they were gonna stop supporting it. And so I was ready for them to be like, okay, season 2, this is everything we're gonna do. And I was like, yes, I get free copies and I can give free codes to all my friends and family. And so I was hurt. I was like, no, why? It was there porque yo lo comparo como a Destiny. Cuando salió Destiny 1, it had all the same problems. It was this huge world with all these promises that there was very little to do. Y le cogió a Bungie más de un año, hasta 2 años to kind of get it in place, right? Like little by little, hablar con la comunidad, integrate everything they wanted, experiment, try. Y cuando llegó Destiny 2, ya it was like, okay, boom, we know what people want out of this game. Y eso es lo que yo pensaba que iba a pasar con Anthem. So I was very surprised, right? Like, oh, why didn't you guys keep it going? Like, it wasn't too far, what it needed to compete.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of games out there. O sea, hay tanta competencia, ¿no? Hay tantos juegos saliendo, like, todos los meses. Like, and there's just, el mercado está tan saturado que sadly, if your game is not like ready and it's not like top notch, it's just going to get swarmed and lost into oblivion because porque es como Cyberpunk. I mean, Cyberpunk. No lo he jugado. I haven't played it, pero
it's on my queue también.
It's very, everyone was talking about it, pero es un ejemplo de cómo tú puedes tener un juego que en teoría es sólido, que es really hyped, but if you release it and it's not ready.
Gamers no perdonan. They have very low tolerance and es verdad, porque si tú tienes tantas opciones, ¿por qué? Why should you play a game that is not ready or feels good? Daniel, holla.
Yeah, yes, and it is what it is. And same thing with, you have the AAA games coming todos los años, like the AAA studios, big studios coming up with not just sequels to their big titles or new IPs, and está saturado. De hecho, yo dejé el último juego AAA, the last AAA game that I bought was Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh, okay.
Which I never finished, by the way.
It's so long.
Yeah. Bueno, I guess que si Pokemon Snap cuenta como un AAA game, which I guess it does, I guess Pokemon Snap will be the last one. But before Pokemon Snap, it was Assassin's Creed, and it's so long. I no longer have the time or the bandwidth, like the attention span to be able to play a game that is that long. So in ese sentido, Pokemon Snap was perfect for me because just could sit down and play a little bit, and take Pokemon pictures, and it was awesome.
And there's no danger, right? There's nothing that's going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, like the worst thing that could happen is that, I don't know what's the worst thing that could happen. You missed a shot, I guess.
Yeah.
Pero no recuerdo where I was going with this. Anyway, adiós, se fue la idea. Bye. Adiós. Lost my train of thought, 100%. Está bien, #normal. Bueno, gente, de verdad que muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos. Si alguien tiene una última pregunta para John, tírala por ahí en lo que le hago la última pregunta para ya ir recogiendo. O sea, tú, de las personas que han participado del live videocast, tal vez con la excepción de Elaine, I think Elaine is the only one. You are the first person that we interview that is kind of like is from the Latinx community, pero nos está mirando como que desde afuera, ¿no? Porque vives en los Estados Unidos y eres de descendencia. Una de las dos, dominicana.
Ascendido.
Entonces, my question for you is, nosotros aquí en Puerto Rico estamos tratando, no solamente a través del Videocast, pero el PRGDA en general, we're trying to create an ecosystem and a community for not just game developers, but for people who are passionate about games, right? What do you think? And I'm very interested in your opinion. What do you think we could do as a community, not just here locally in Puerto Rico, but also like como latinoamericanos, ¿no? Como latinoamericanos trabajando en juegos y construyendo estos pieces of media that are incredibly complex, which is precisely the reason why I love video games and I find video game design fascinating. And I love the work that you do, by the way, and I think it's super interesting. It's because they're so complex, right? ¿Cómo podemos nosotros como comunidad hacer lo posible por vernos representados más dentro de lo que son el mundo de los videojuegos? What do you think we could do to kind of like, yo estoy loca por ver videojuegos basados en el actual Caribbean, como estamos hablando earlier. So how do you think we could get there? Like, tú como una persona trabajando en a AAA big studio, which is one of the reasons why I'm really interested on your opinion on this. Yeah. How do you think we could make that happen? Because there's a bunch of indie studios, but of course we know that creating games is incredibly expensive, right?
Sí.
So what do you think? How could we as a community even work towards having more representation of Latin American content, cultural content within the video game medium?
Okay. Tenemos tiempo, ¿verdad? We got time to...
See, we're on your time. Your time. So go ahead.
All right, let's try. Vamos a intentar. Vamos a tratar de desempacar esta oportunidad, right? Like, gracias a ti, la association, you know, like, hay más interés, hay más gente cogiendo interés and coming into the game space to be a streamer, un journalist, un developer, que más, pro gamer, right? De toda manera. So ahora, more than ever, nuestra voz está creciendo, right? Cogiendo maybe velocidad, right? Like, I think we're getting bigger, and gente, people are paying attention, you know. Cuando yo veo various conferences y expos que tienen round tables y tienen su propio show or game festival y tienen sponsorships, I see that, you know, I see that momentum. For me, inside of a big corporation, I see the little starts, right? Tenemos various, ¿cómo se dice? ERGs, employee resource groups, para cada, you know, group y lo demás, to give us a place to have a voice. Tenemos, por ejemplo, EA Somos, el grupo para todo lo South American, gente latino, gente de, you know, Spanish descent, lo que sea, to organize and have conversations and have a safe space. Tenemos various Slack channels para hablar lo que es inclusive design. Y la mayoría de los topics salen siendo que, oh, mira, este juego tiene tal y tal protagonista y toditos son blancos, right? Or toditos son hombre or something like that, right? So having that discussion to say, where could we do better, right? Why didn't we have a more diverse cast? So starting there, porque lo que pasa es, como tú dices, right? External, internal, y in that director circle, ellos tienen muchos blind spots. Ellos ven lo que hay, y they're looking at it from a lens of like, is the graphics good? Is the responsiveness of the controls tight? Is the audio good? Is it, you know, the player motivations on point? Okay, this is a good game. Y no están viendo que, hey, obviously, you have a very cookie cutter protagonist that we've been looking at for 20 years now. Hay tiempo de cambio. There's a lot of opportunity here to make a more compelling, interesting character that resonates with el mundo, right? Like, if the majority of the people in the world son gente de color y cultura, right? Like, why are we not putting those on screen? También como Hollywood, right? Hollywood does the same shit también, right? La mayoría de the people that Hollywood wants to be in the front of the movie poster siempre son de un mundo bien específico. So establishing that, I love this idea of, there's so many of us ahora. ¿Qué podemos hacer junto and collective to make the change we want to see, to give these teams and developers a role model or an example of the types of characters that they can put in the games, right? That we can be. Me encantaría dialogar más, to think, right? Because si podemos coger Miles Morales, right? Miles Morales succeeded because it was a pop culture character in Spider-Man, right? Like, the whole world knows about Spider-Man. And I forget who I can credit for creating the character and making it happen, pero it took someone brave to propose that, hey, we're gonna change the person behind the mask, and it's gonna be this kid from, you know, Spanish Harlem or Brooklyn.
I think it's from Brooklyn, but
Brooklyn.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, tiene Brooklyn. I think it is Brooklyn. Y tú sabes, tiene papá afroamericano, tiene madre hispana, puertorriqueña, la mamá
Puertorriqueña, yeah.
And that thing spoke to so many people across the world. como tú te imaginas. Pero it took people voting with their wallets, right? Con su efectivo, buying it, paying to see the movie, buying the comic books, writing, being very vocal about it to show Marvel or Disney ahora, right? They control everything. Que, hey, people want more. Hay un apetito para esto. Okay, we're going to give them more. So that, yo creo que that's a reality en el mundo que vivimos, right? Is you vote with your money.
Mm-hmm.
So the things you buy are the things they're going to keep creating. And the things you don't buy are the things they're going to be like, oh, people don't want this. I wonder why. No sé por qué, right? And so that's a very real reality of the power that we have como un colectivo. Y también, I would love, in my position, to be able to go to a creative director y decirle que I give a bunch of reference of very amazing, beautiful people that are not the typical cookie cutter that you see and help them create assets and reference, Pero no sé, right? I think so many of us, in this association, we have so many artists, right? So many people that can make. I love, you know what I love to see, Shirley? Me encanta ver when you take a character that's a mass market and you create your version of it, right? To be like, hey, this is what I would look like if I was a superhero or a heroine or a racer or a Street Fighter character or something like that. And I don't know, en verdad, I think it takes a wave of like showing what's missing, right? Like I know a thing in The Sims that is getting a lot of momentum is the hair and the complexions and the options for representation. Y esto vino de modding y la comunidad and the Twitch streamers, right? Like a lot of companies, a lot of developers hoy en día drive their success off how many people are streaming their content. Y eso otra manera is not just your wallets, but also your attention and what you're streaming on Twitch and what you're sharing on your social media. Otra vez, tú sabes. So if you keep sharing or streaming the games that you don't find yourself represented in, that's sending the wrong message, right? That's sending the message that, oh, you like this content. So we have no reason to change the content because you keep playing it and streaming it. Mm-hmm. And so that's another way to use your voice and your streams and your attention, right?
Yeah. Y por eso es que todo el mundo aquí comparte los posts del PRGDA cuando los ve en Facebook.
Yeah. Así mismo, share it. Share this.
That is exactly why everyone shares every time they see a PRGDA post. Everyone is sharing it. Sí, de verdad que muchísimas gracias, John. Mira, tengo 2 preguntas aquí, pero no sé si tenemos tiempo. Tú me dices.
Go for it. 2. I got 2. Okay. Yeah, I'll take the 2.
All right. So, la primera es una pregunta compuesta. So, maybe technically 3 questions. Pero mira, tengo a Bib, preguntó. ¿Dónde está? Espérate. Ok. No, esa no es.
Quería dar otro mention is to get in these games and mod them and change them so that they look the way you want them to look and share that shit and make people take notice. I think that's mod these games for sure. Eso es lo que quería decir. Okay, I'm done.
No, tienes toda la razón. Like when un periodo de tiempo de mi vida, like I was playing The Sims. I was obsessed with The Sims. And I would just download mods left and right, porque it was just free content that, no offense, it was sometimes better que el que venía en el juego.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes like, no, it's exactly what I was looking for. All right, so Abid pregunta, ¿qué debería enfocarme en mejorar si me interesa ser parte de un equipo de trabajo en EA Y la segunda parte de la pregunta es que estarías buscando hoy en día compañías como EA, which I would presume is like AAA companies. But,
Okay, yeah, ese es fácil, señor Morales. I would, te digo que cógete para el ea.com/careers o cualquier equipo o compañía que está integrada. Well, cuéntame, Shirley, lo que ven este cast, ¿saben de Game Dev Maps?
I don't think so. Maybe. What do you mean with Game Dev?
Well, Game Dev Maps, un site, mételo ahí en Google y te dice dónde están todas las compañías en todos los países, everywhere en el mundo. And so that's a great place para los que están buscando para dónde trabajar. Si están buscando, hey, yo no puedo salir de mi país o whatever, odds are tiene algo cerca de ti que tú puedes escribirle o email o see their website para ver los trabajos que hay o lo que están buscando, pero yo siempre aconsejo a los que están buscando entrar a una compañía, cójanse para el website, miren los roles y en una compañía como el tamaño de EA o Amazon o whatever, están buscando de todo, right? Están buscando abogado, están buscando PR, HR, training, QA, support, designers, artists, audio, engineering, UX, UI, de todo. Streamers, communities, managers, everything. So, cuando tú me dices a mí que, hey, yo quiero trabajar para EA or something, yo te digo a ti que that's too broad. Tiene que como que decirme lo que te interesa, lo que te excita, what are you passionate about, right? What do you do cuando no está trabajando? Si alguien no te está pagando, what's the thing that you do? Are you writing? Are you drawing? Are you problem solving? Are you playing Legos, right? Like, dime lo que te interesa, and I would love to give you more advice. Pero find the role that appeals to you, mira los qualifications y build a portfolio or an app or something that shows that you can do the things that they're asking for, right? I think that's a place to start. Sin saber más detalle.
Sí, también muchas veces titles can be deceiving when you're looking for work. Y a veces, if you're browsing the careers page en EA, por ejemplo, o en Bethesda, o en Santa Monica Games, or whatever, sometimes the title will have a description that's not necessarily the same description en todas las compañías. Or sometimes you will find que there's titles que son como que, bueno, como bien random, no sé, es que el título que yo tengo en my current job es como que un título bien random y es como que, what? So at the end of the day, right, it's about, it's not so much about the title itself, but whether or not you can perform the job. So I guess that's what I wanted to get at. So, mirar las posiciones que están abiertas y decir como que, si tú te quedas mirando como que, I think I could do that. Y también no esperar a que you check all the boxes para aplicar.
Sí,
o sea, even if you don't have all the qualifications, apply anyway.
Sí, yeah. Es verdad, plus a million, Shirley, es verdad. Cuando nosotros escribimos esos job descriptions, es buscando el perfect candidate, right? El perfect candidate tiene todo eso. Y if we can get that perfect candidate, ese es el que elegimos. Pero la mayoría de las veces, el candidate que cogimos tiene, 7 out of the 10, 6 out of the 10, algo así.
Sí, porque también, digo, me imagino, I'm not really sure, pero también like the personality of the person you're hiring needs to be a good fit for the team, right? Sí. So, I don't know if you had, por ejemplo, un candidato que checks all the boxes, but maybe has a really bad personality.
Yeah.
Versus una persona que maybe checks 5 out of the 8, but has like a super that you know that you would have, like, this person would contribute in a very positive way to the team, then which one would you hire?
It's you have it's a loaded question. Pero es verdad que una persona que viene y me enseña que tiene un interés en aprender y darle gana, meterle gana y como que darme la confianza que quizá no tienen el skill en ese momento, pero tienen la gana de aprender y cogerse como un ally y meterse y como que apply themselves. That means a lot to me versus someone that knows everything y que solamente quieren hacer that one specific thing, right? I'd rather have the person que me enseña que saben a varias cosas y quieren aprender más y quieren y me preguntan a mí que, hey, you know, what opportunities do you have to continue learning outside of the job, right? Do you guys give any assistance for college or classes, or do you send, you know, do we send people to conferences? You know, I love when I get those types of questions. Eso me enseña a mí que una persona que quieren crecer, que quieren seguir staying at the cutting edge. I love having those conversations. So to your point, la personalidad vale mucho más que the technical skills. Los technical skills, ¿sabes?
Son importantes, claro, pero tal vez no es lo más importante.
Yes.
All right, so last question, y te dejo ir porque I'm so sorry.
I'm in overtime.
Te tengo aquí overtime, te tengo secuestrado.
¿Qué horas son allá?
¿Cómo?
¿Qué horas son allá?
Acá son las 7:30, ¿no? Yo estoy bien.
I hope you had dinner. I hope comiste.
De este lado todo está bien, es porque I don't wanna keep you, pero de cualquier forma las preguntas tratamos de contestarlas siempre. So Daniel pregunta, ¿cuáles serían los tools que consideras más importantes para tu trabajo? Y estos son los que más utilizas, ya que ser el intermediario entre el designer y el ingeniero no debe ser trabajo fácil.
Tengo varios libros que te puedo recomendar y también varios YouTube videos que he mirado yo en el mes pasado cuando me he olvidado mucha de la matemática, pero te la voy a tirar, Daniel. Mira, cógete y aplícate en game trigonometry and vector math, y también si quiere, if you want to tinker, yo creo que is it Havoc? Havoc is a physics engine, o si no, NVIDIA Physics. Son dos physics SDKs que tienen unos badass examples que you can download and play and see how they work. Pero también cógete algo fácil como Unity or Unreal, bájalo, open up their levels and try to build or copy a game that you see, a simple part of a game, and try to build it in Unity or Unreal, porque hay tanto YouTube videos y examples y documents, and they give you things that are already working, and just get in there and mod, you know, change like cuánto damage hace or the look of the character, make them jump higher, make them run faster, make things blow up bigger, y ahí si te enamora con eso, I think you're on the right path to learning more about technical design, right? Que ya cuando te metes ahí, you can just keep digging, right, to see what else you can do and what else you can change.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias, John. Thank you so much for the answer. Antes de irnos, ahora sí, cuéntanos en dónde te podemos conseguir. Si alguien aquí, ya sea ahora, tiene alguna otra pregunta que te quiera hacer y tal vez no se atrevió a ponerla en el chat, o maybe people who are watching the video on YouTube, if they want to reach out to you, if they can, and where could they reach out to you?
Okay, lo más fácil, ahí ven mi Twitter, @elkingpin, y ahí tienen un link a my portfolio, y de ahí se conectan con my LinkedIn y my work and videos, y también no sé si ven ahí that little emblem ahí, pero tengo un podcast que I created this year. Creé. Thank you, ayudándome con mi español, porque, man, it's getting stale, porque hace años que visito a Nueva York gracias a la pandemia, pero...
No, but your Spanish is good. Like, it's good.
And so in that podcast, entrevisto yo con varios disciplinas de game developers que tienen la experiencia. And so that's another venue para que escuchen más different stories. Y me encantaría conectar con ustedes si saben a alguien que quieren saber más. For example, tengo un episodio también con Elaine, pero no lo he sacado todavía, más para adelante, más para el futuro. Yeah. Pero por favor, Twitter, y de ahí you'll find everything to connect with me. And trato yo me encanta hablar de esto y hablar de helping you find the role that speaks to you, for sure, porque yo creo que lo más de esta asociación que metemos en el industry, lo más cerca que llegamos a ese tiempo que podemos decir la historia de los juegos que hacen falta, ¿verdad? Hacen falta estos juegos de nuestro país, de nuestra cultura, música, all that stuff.
Yes, completely agree. Espérate, déjame poner por acá. Este es el link de tu podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, good find. Damn, your Google skills are sharp. To Google fool.
There you go. I've been on the internet since the 90s.
También se escribe out of play area. I think it's a redirect. You're a 90,
probably. Pero, puse el link en el chat, y para las personas que están viendo el video, que obviamente no pueden ver el chat, pues a través de este link pueden conseguir el podcast de John. Muy bien. Y ahora solo me queda despedirme yo, corillo. Ya saben, como siempre, si no nos siguen en Facebook, por favor, sigan al PRGDA en Facebook. Igualmente, si todavía no nos siguen en Twitch and you have a Twitch account, go ahead and follow us on Twitch. El live videocast está aquí para ustedes. Idealmente todos los miércoles, pero por ahora es every other Wednesday. No obstante, espero que con el tiempo se vaya regulando eso y todos los miércoles entonces tengamos el live videocast. También recuerden que pueden unirse a nuestro Discord, y quiero hacerle un shout out a Brian. Un saludito a Brian.
Otro señor Díaz.
Que es, yes. Brian maneja nuestro Twitter, so he's our Twitter person. Definitivamente el MVP, y es quien está compartiendo ahora el link a nuestro Linktree. A través del link al Linktree pueden conseguir el link al Discord. Así que por favor, si no se han unido al Discord todavía, únanse. Ahí van a poder ver everything that we're up to, or activities, anuncio el videocast en el Discord, también se anuncia por Facebook. Y listo. Nada, gente, de verdad que muchísimas gracias por estar, como siempre, por acompañarnos. Súper mega agradecida. De verdad que yo la paso súper bien haciendo estos videocasts. Y es 100%, esto es 100% para ustedes. Debo admitir que otra vez yo la paso súper bien. Tengo el gran privilegio de sentarme a conversar un ratito con personas, ¿no?, extraordinarias dentro de la industria como John, y de una vez traerles a ustedes la oportunidad, ¿no?, de que puedan conocerlo, y vean que hasta dónde podemos llegar. Nada, gente, de verdad que muchas gracias. Ahí estaré avisando si el miércoles próximo, yo creo que el miércoles próximo te vamos a tener videocast. Pero de cualquier forma, pendientes al Facebook, pendientes al Discord. Muchas gracias por estar y que tengan tremenda noche, gente. Bye.